Wow. I just watched some of the videos of Austin McCaff's father ranting and attacking everyone. He's been doing a lot. And like I told y'all, let him keep going. Because, clearly he's going to. Um, y'all remember when he was trying to stop Carmelo from, oh, my lipstick messed up, from getting his diploma? I mean, he went out his way to try to stop that. Well, I mean, your son accepted a diploma on behalf of your other son. He's harassing the family. He talks junk on his live about the family, Carmelo's parents. Um, said they were horrible mothers. I'm gonna post all that stuff because they didn't show up to the sentencing. If they didn't show up to the sentencing, maybe they can't actually handle their son being sentenced. It's not for him to approve or not approve them showing up or not showing up to their son's sentencing. Um, Everybody agrees. But to be harassing people on social media, he calling out some other people too. Yeah, I don't know. Like he really showing out, and he's only just begun. Trust me. But was Carmelo set up? So we know how horribly the trial went. So um, you know, we definitely gonna help him get that appeal, right? Better lawyers, better representatives. I saw the interview from the Carmelo's parents. I got to finish watching it, but good for them because they realized things that they should have realized before. Carmelo's father said that the guy who called him over to the tent was the cousin of Carmelo's girlfriend. The coach who testified said that that same guy, after Carmelo stabbed Austin, and he and Carmelo, the coach and Carmelo, was standing off to the side. The coach said that this same boy came charging after Carmelo, wanting to fight him, right? Why did you stab my brother? He kept calling Austin his brother. So he's that close with Austin. There's more there. Their attorneys, detectives for the family, because yes, you need some detectives. They need to look into that. If Carmelo's girlfriend's cousin called Carmelo over to the tent, then when he got there, he really wasn't talking to him, then he otherwise tried to play it off like understand, like he really didn't know Carmelo, and he was charging after Carmelo and calling Austin his brother. We know that Austin first was suspended. The coach said he first suspended him. He's very disappointed in him and his behaviors. He's a very bad boy. He said that he changed his mind, and then he texted Austin that he could actually come. Now, when he told him he couldn't, he chewed him out. So apparently, he's like the ringleader for the Bad Boys Club. And, he coach really laid into him, but and he coach really laid into him, but he told him, be more of a leader, set a good example for the guys when they got there. He didn't do that, did he? So if the cousin of Carmelo's girlfriend called him over to the tent, but then really didn't talk to him, then tried to attack him after he stabbed Austin and he's calling Austin his brother, I guarantee you there's more going on there. I guarantee you there's a reason why they would want to have an altercation with Carmelo. I guarantee it. And hopefully, since the parents now understand what we would have loved for them to understand from the beginning, they'll get a much better legal team. And that legal team will get to digging and find out what it is. Going through some of the older videos, interviews of Austin's brother. Remember they did interviews the day it happened or the next day, him and his mom, like immediately after it happened. He said on the news twice, I believe, that he was a part of that confrontation. He spoke about him and his brother, and he confronting Carmelo. He also talked about um, his brother snatching Carmelo's backpack. I know about people saying footages. I'm going to post the people who said they saw it through FOIA. And, FOIA, anybody can request the public information and they can charge you what they want and they can take all the time they want giving it to you. Hopefully, some content creators will get it if there's other videos because they're saying that there's videos that weren't admissible in court. They wouldn't allow them. That shows that they pretty much jumped him. They were actually fighting. There's so much more here to go on top of the way that trial went. He has so many legitimate reasons to win an appeal. It's not even funny. And Austin Metcalf, for all of you people who support him and his family, thank you for the rose. I suggest you try and get a hold of him because he's not the only one grieving. A lot of us are grieving. A lot of us have lost loved ones, including in tragic ways, and we're having difficult times. We are still to be held responsible for how we interact. Now, people tried to say when he came to that press conference the family had, he came to pray. Of course, he would say that, right? But when he came in, he was looking mighty aggressive. And he's been behaving aggressive this entire time. But he was looking mighty aggressive. He was looking mad. He had no shades. He did not call in previously or have a representative reach out to the family. He did it in any way, shape, or form, pre-inform the family that he's coming in peace and coming to pray. So when he showed up, they had no way of knowing why he was there. And he, again, did not look friendly or anything. He's definitely trying to milk this, but he is spiraling. He's a grown man and he is responsible for how he behaves. A lot of us have lost loved ones and we probably came close to or thought about wilding out. Probably snapped on a few people or something like that. Got depressed, picked up some bad habits. We probably dealt with it in unhealthy ways. But that's a part of the grieving process. It is not okay to start talking shit to people and taunting them on social media. Especially when y'all tried to call what Carmelo did as taunting by being there, by not leaving, by saying, don't touch me. It's something more to this. I believe we already know there's a whole lot to discover as far as the trial and everybody involved. Because we know that trial was crap. And all that should be completely overturned. His family's going to have to get the right team. They're going to have to get the right team. Private investigators, everything. Because I just think it's suspicious. If someone signaled for him, motioned for him, called out his name, told him to come over to the tent, but then really was kind of standoffish, and then the brothers show up with their bullying, and then that guy is calling Austin his brother and wanting to attack Karmelo, yet he called Karmelo over there only to really not interact with him. I think something's up. Yeah. And he happened to be the cousin of Carmelo's girlfriend. It's worth looking into. Everything needs to be looked into. Everybody who was there at that tent, everything about this case, everyone involved in the case, everything about how the proceedings went, it was terrible. But y'all, Nick at Night was there every day, and day one alone lets you know that there's no way that this case was there every day, and day one alone lets you know that there's no way that this case should have did so many things that were wrong, including his defense attorney. I think we are all in unison in agreeing that that defense attorney clearly was not on Carmelo's side. But I found some other things that the family said interesting, and I'm going to go back and finish the video. But, they talked about how they were coerced and soothed and continuously told to just, don't worry, chill, we got this, we're going to handle it, we're going to do it like we should, things like that. It's going to be okay. Because I'm sure, and I do believe he said or alluded to, that throughout the process they began to have questions, especially when they picked that jury, right? So they trusted in their representatives and their attorney. Now, I think the rep, who we all can agree was a poor choice, and I don't like coming down on my people, especially in situations like this, but for him to have that record, I would have never chose him to represent my family when my son is facing a murder charge. So what happened to the plea agreements that they offer people in these cases? Did they not have negotiations about that? Because they claim self-defense, yet they did not run a self-defense case at all. Called not one witness on Carmelo's behalf. They said they believed that the guy who tried to attack Karmelo after he stabbed Austin had some video footage, but he deleted it. Had some video footage, but he deleted it. And hell, we just did a letter PD down there, but they're good. But any of them can extract anything deleted from your phone. So if they wanted to see the footage, they would have gotten it. And then all of the things that were inadmissible in court, I'm pretty sure a lot of that needs to be admissible. But how do you plead not guilty, yet you don't run a defense case at all? You allow things to happen that shouldn't. You don't object when you should. Your cross pretty much non-existent. I'm sure the opening and closing statement was trash too. But if Carmelo is pleading not guilty, as to say, I do not agree that this was murder. This was actually self-defense. Then that is when they go into negotiations over a possible plea deal for lesser charge, some kind of manslaughter, something like that. In order to get a light sentence, but still a conviction on something like that, it will require you to admit guilt to that charge. But just coming in and saying you're not guilty, it was self defense. Well, he did the action, so we know that. So that charge needs to change so that not guilty can change. And that is where the plea deal will come in at. Because if you're saying you're not guilty, and then with which the prosecution case was horrible, all wrong, illegal, in so many ways, but the jury, who I'm sure already knew what their verdict was going to be, decided that they were going to give him a guilty plea. So if he's saying it was self-defense, then his attorney has the duty to uh, prove that it was, while the prosecution is doing their job. Well, in normal circumstances, because this shit was just handed to them. The verdict was already decided, but they're supposed to disprove what the prosecution is saying to prove that he is actually not guilty of murder, but it was self-defense. And that almost always in a self-defense case requires that the perpetrator get on the stand. How could they not put him on the stand when he's claiming self-defense? If the jury does not hear from you to hear your version, to hear what was going on with you at that time, what you was thinking and feeling, then they're gonna go off everything else they're presenting. So everybody's saying, hey, you meant to do this, you provoked him, blah blah blah, then that's what they got. He didn't get on the stand to contradict it. Not that it's his fault. This is the defense team. They didn't even try. And my worst disappointment is really in the parents, because they should have, understood what they were, what this was from the beginning. But they were naive. They were clueless, naive, and they sat back and watched these people hand their son over to 35 years in prison. The, the only thing I can be thankful for concerning that is that you can hear in the interview that they now see. They started pointing out pretty much everything I've been talking about. So they clearly see where, how this thing went. But, now you got to try and go back on that. So, it's very doable, but it's a large task. They have to have the right team. They need probably help getting a team. I don't know if anybody's reached out to them to take the case. It can be somebody local, but it's gonna be an ugly fight. Because if y'all remember when Carmelo first got arrested, they didn't even think he deserved a trial. Everybody does, right? Not him. They prefer to just take him out and do him himself. Just like they would go grab, blacks who were falsely accused for the most part back then, and they would sneak in there and get them and do, we know what they did. And a lot of times the sheriff was right there letting them do it. They're not going to want to let go of that win. This is going to be more expensive than the first time. Not only, they're going to have to fight, they're going to have to deal with all these people there and all around the world who definitely believe in doing whatever to uphold their the shit they do. And their number one thing to do, their favorite thing of all pastime, is to get rid of black males, especially the youth, especially promising youth. Now, being that they had some mingling because they, at the least were involved in sports, I'm pretty sure, Carmelo was some kind of competition. I went over to Austin's TikTok and he seems braggy about, he the man when it comes to football. He can't really be that jock if a jock is around who is just naturally a jock. Because God builds us like that. They build our men like that. Doesn't matter if he's small or nothing like that. He is one of us. But something's up. Something more is there. You know, it's not surprising, but it is very interesting. It is a siren red flag how so many people got on that stand and either lied or told half truths. How the prosecution was just foul every way in turn. How the prosecution outright lied. How they tried to direct the witness. How they say Austin's father was in there trying to direct the witness. So much. And for his defense team to not eat that shit alive, yeah, they had this already sold out. They did. But it's clear as day. Oh, and your boy is crashing out. So my phone heating up. Let me get up off of here. But between TikTok and my YouTube, I'm going to be back to talk about this. And I will be posting things that, definitely matter concerning this case. We're not going to turn our back on Carmelo. And, it's good to see that the parents are still standing with him and sticking up for him. That's good. That's very important. And they won't let anyone bully them into doing otherwise. But the stuff that they're still going through is terrible. And these people need to be held accountable. But, mark my words, that daddy over there, the mom's been quiet. But the daddy, I think he's just getting started. And they're encouraging him. His behavior is abhorrent, completely inappropriate, and 9 times out of 10 is going to land him with some charges or in jail. Who goes and harass the parents of someone who took your child's life? They themselves didn't do it. Who comes on here and make all these offensive statements that he's made? Yet they want to run around and say it's not about race, and we know. Oh, my bad. Let me see. I can't get it back down. We know everything is about race. So it's got the chat up. And nobody's typing in the chat. It's just them letting me know that people have posted in the chat. Okay. Well, I'm swiping every which way but loose. Oh, yeah, something malfunctioned. Oh, I see. Oh, I see.